Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yasoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. That's okay, I don't need it. All right, thank you. Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Thank you. We are reading Nectar of Devotion, characteristic of pure devotional service. The mystic perfections achieved by actually successful yogis are 8 in number. Anima Siddhi refers to the power by which one can become so small that can enter into a stone. Modern scientists' improvement also enable us to enter into stone because they provide for excavation so many subways penetrating the hills, etc. So Anima Siddhi, the mystic perfection of trying to enter into stone, has also been achieved by material science. Similarly, all the yoga siddhis, all perfections are material arts. For example, in one yoga siddhi, there is a development of the power to become so light that one can float in the air or on the water. That's also been performed by modern scientists. They are flying in the air and they are floating on the surface of the water, and they are traveling under the water. Nectar of Devotion ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 6, text, which one? 7. Mukasya Balye Kaishore Kridata Yati Vinsati Sharaya Grihasta Dehasya Yati Akalpasya Vimshati Muktasya Balye Kaishore Muktasya Balye Kaishore Kridato Yati Vimshati Kridato Yati Vimshati Sharaya grasta dehasya Sharaya grasta dehasya Yatya kalpasya vimshati Yatya kalpasya vimshati Muktasya palyakaishore Kridato yati vimshati Sharaya grasta dehasya Yatya kalpasya vimshati Vaishnavas. Kridato yati vimshati Kaishore Muktasya of a person bewildered or not in perfect knowledge. Balye in childhood. Kaishore in boyhood. Kridaya plain. Yati passes. Vimshati 20 years. Jaraya by invalidity. Grihastadehasya of a person overcome. Yati passes. Akalpasya without determination. Being unable to execute even material activities. Vinshati another 20 years. In the tender age of childhood, when everyone is bewildered, one passes 10 years. Similarly, in boyhood, engaged in sporting and playing, one passes another 10 years. In this way, 20 years are wasted. Similarly, in old age, when one is invalid, unable to perform any material activities, one passes another 20 years wastefully. Prabhupada His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Without Krishna consciousness, one wastes 20 years in childhood and boyhood and another 20 years in old age. When one cannot perform any material activities and is full of anxiety about what is to be done by his sons and grandsons and how one's estate should be protected. Half of these years are spent in sleep. Furthermore, one wastes another 30 years sleeping at night during the rest of his life. Thus, 70 out of 100 years are wasted by a person who does not know the aim of life and how to utilize this human form. Muktasya Balyakaishore Kridato Yati Vimshati Sharaya Grasta Dehasya Yatya Kalpasya Vimshati. Translation again. In the tender age of childhood, when everyone is bewildered, one passes 10 years. Similarly, in boyhood, engaged in sporting and playing, one passes another 10 years. In this way, 20 years are wasted. Similarly, in old age, when one is an invalid, unable to perform any material activities, one passes another 20 years wastefully. Om Gyanatimidandasya Gyananganashalakaya Shaksurumilitangina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Here Prahlad Maharaj continues explaining that most humans, they just waste their human form of life. As we know, when one is a kid, we just waste our years playing and doing a sport. And then when you get to old age, we just waste our time trying to recover for all these previous years. And especially if one is an invalid or suffer from diseases, then it's very difficult to perform any even material activities. So people think that I'm too young to perform a spiritual life, and when they are too old, they said I'm too old for this. And it's very sad. This is a situation in this age where everyone is wasting their time. I see sometimes when I come to the temple, when I come to do my service, around 4:30 in the morning, I see two of my neighbors, they are watching TV, 4 o'clock in the morning. And it's unbelievable. What a waste of time. They could be chanting japa, they could be performing any spiritual activity, but rather they choose to be watching TV. So like that, people spend their life just waiting for death. And in the end, they are just so tired. I remember my grandmother used to say, I'm so tired of living. She was around 80, and she said, I'm tired of living, just waiting until the day I will die. I think it's not because she was depressed or anything, because it's just a materialistic life. There is no aim, there is nothing higher, there is no higher taste. Just for them, enjoyment is when we can gratify our senses in fully, but then when the senses are not longer working, then just waiting to get another body and another opportunity to enjoy. But Prahlad Maharaj is saying the opposite. We should not waste. We should start to perform a spiritual life as young as possible. And we see he's a perfect example of it. He was fully Krishna conscious when he was 5 years old. He didn't wait until he became old to become a monk or something like that. He started to perform devotional service even before he was born. He was listening to the sages, he was listening to Narada Muni, talking to his mother, and he was remembering Krishna all his life without wasting even a second. So this is a real Krishna consciousness. And today is a very auspicious day, because today is the appearance day of Rasikananda Prabhu and Jagannath Babaji, who are also a good example of this mentality of not wasting time and not wasting the human form of life. So I would like to spend the rest of the lecture talking about them, because on those days of this appearance, or this appearance, Srila Prabhupada said that there is no difference between appearance of this disappearance of great acharyas. So I would like to spend rest of the lecture talking about them, as these days are especially potent when those great personalities appear or disappear. And we can ask, why do we need to discuss the disappearance of these great acharyas? Because normally when somebody disappears from our life, is a mourning time, is the time of sadness. Why do we need to, what is it glorious about a great personality disappearance? Can anyone say any of the reasons? Yeah, that's a good one. The example is given also when it's like a sunrise and sunset. There is no difference. It's just when the sunrise dissipates the darkness, and when the sunset, it will again, there will be next day's sunrise that also will dissipate. So great sages, they come, they dissipate the darkness of the age of Kali, and then another sage come and also perform the same activity. Yananda Vigraha.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, I feel like disciplines day of our acharyas is very glorious, as Prabhu mentioned. Like they laid the path out for us. They enter into the eternal pastimes of Krishna, and so we glorify that, and we also desire, aspire, take this opportunity to pray and seek their blessings and mercy to make that mood to enter into the eternal pastimes of Krishna.
They also said that normally we appreciate someone when it's not longer there, isn't it? This is always the case. So we normally appreciate, because when you have a small baby, there is some appreciation there. But when there is a bond, when the child grow up and there is a bond and this person disappears from our sight, therein there is a strong attachment and there is a strong separation. So when the acharyas is the same, even though their childhood and youthful, young activities are glorious, but when they leave, because of the legacy and because of the bond that they created, there is a strong sense of separation. And like in the life of Rasikananda Prabhu, even though he's not that well known as other acharyas, but he's not less glorious than Jagannath Das Babaji and others. So I would like to speak about Rasikananda first, and then if you have time, about Jagannath Das Babaji. Rasikananda Prabhu was born in 1590 in a village called Rohini in West Bengal. And he was the son of a zamindar. Zamindar is like a king, somebody who possesses a lot of land. And the name of his mother was Babani. So they were both great devotees of the Lord, even though he was so powerful. Achyuta was so powerful and so rich. He was a great devotee of the Lord. And something interesting was happening around this time when Rasikananda was born, that people in Bengal especially, they become very materialistic. They stop performing Harinam, they stop doing pious activities, they just perform sinful activities. They became drunkards and womanizers. So when, by the time Rasikananda was born, the situation in Bengal was very bad. Other part of India as well, but especially in Bengal, the situation was very bad. And devotees being harassed by a materialistic person. When devotees were going on Harinam, people will come and break their midangas and chase them out from the village. So devotees were in a big agony and they were praying to Krishna, please send us someone who can help us, who can liberate the sinful people of Kali Yuga. So then Rasikananda was born. And when he was born, they said that he illuminated the whole room with his effulgence. And he was so beautiful. In the scriptures described, like we see the description of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he was born as well. And any incarnation of Krishna or any great devotees, they have certain characteristics, physical characteristics, like he had beautiful eyes like lotus flowers. And the color of Rasikananda was similar of that of Krishna. He was like a bluish complexion. And then, as we know, when the baby starts to crawl, they do a ceremony. It's called Annaprasad. Normally in the West and in ISKCON, we have two options for that. What you have to do, you just put in front of a kid who is crawling a Srimad Bhagavatam or some money, some coins, and then according to this, whatever the baby take means this is the tendency that the baby will have. So if he grabs the coins, means he will be Vaishya, he will be interested in money. And he grabs the Srimad Bhagavatam, means he will be a preacher, he will be interested in a spiritual life. I mean, there is no, he could also be interested in money and also perform a spiritual life, but this is like a general tendency of a child that is being checked during that ceremony. But according to the Vedic scripture, there are 7 objects that are placed before the kid, not only the Srimad Bhagavatam and the coins, but there are some other things like a the sword is also placed before that, because if the child he take the sword, means he will be a kshatriya. Also, some grains are put there. So if the child chooses the grains, means he will be a farmer. And the Brahman thread is also posted there. That means if they grab the Brahman thread, he will be like a priest. But Rasikananda, he gazed at the Srimad Bhagavatam with great affection. And then when he reached the Srimad Bhagavatam, he embraced the Srimad Bhagavatam and he started crying. And he started to manifest all the symptoms of ecstatic love for Krishna. Can you imagine? He was just a baby. He was only 6 months old. And then everybody understood this is a very special kid. This is not an ordinary child. And then he grew up. He started to go to Gurukula when he was 5. And as Prahlad Maharaj, he was preaching only to his classmates. And he was doing all kind of spiritual activities for the benefits of everyone. And when he was 6 years old, he started to chant 64 rounds. 1 lakh, when he was only 6 years old. And then he started to grow up, and he especially liked to take care of Tulsi Devi. So if he sees that any Tulsi plant was neglected, he will go smear the area with cow dung and start to take care of Tulsi Devi until the owner of the place, take the responsibility of taking care of Tulsi. So in this way, he grew up performing spiritual activities. And then when he was already I don't remember his age, but he was already grown up. So he decided that he needed a spiritual master. So Krishna appeared before him and he said, there is a great devotee, his name is Syamananda, and he will meet you and you need to take initiation by him. At the same time, Krishna appeared before Syamananda, who was a great, great devotee of the Lord, and he said, soon I will be sending you Rasikananda, you must initiate him, he's very, very dear to me. So in this way, they met up, Syamananda with Rasikananda, and also the wife of, because Rasikananda, he was Grihasta, he had 6 kids, 3 girls and 3 boys. So when Syamananda gave initiation to Rasikananda, he also gave initiation to his wife and he called her Syamarani. And he gave initiation also to the kids. So it was a really amazing Krishna conscious family. And there are so many pastimes that were performed by Syamananda that we show that he was extremely powerful in every sense. Probably you know one of the pastimes, probably the most famous, is about the elephant. Do you know this pastime with the elephant and Syamananda? There are so many stories with elephants, sometimes it's difficult to relate which one is it connected with each pastime. One time, Syamananda was going through some Muslim kingdom. And this king was especially demoniac. And he didn't like Rasikananda at all. And he didn't like the devotees performing Harinam. So he sent one of what is called war elephant. And he was totally mad. He was completely like Prabhupada talk about mad elephant as well in the Nectar of Devotion. In analogy to offenses. So this elephant was totally mad. He had red eyes and he was foaming from his mouth. And he will kill anyone. He will kill anyone who crosses his path. He will kill cows. He will kill horses. He will kill people. He will kill anyone and everyone. And this was the favorite elephant of the king. Because the king, he said that he took good pleasure in killing at least 1 or 2 people every day. That was like his hobby. So he has this special pet, this elephant. So immediately he sent this elephant to kill Rasikananda. And then when the elephant started charging at Rasikananda, but then when he was getting closer, he started to get surprised by the qualities and by the behavior, because Syamananda was not afraid at all. And you know how is the behavior when humans are not afraid, they normally don't attack. You can see that with the dog. Same with the elephants as well. So he saw that Rasikananda was not afraid at all. And when he got very close to Rasikananda, Rasikananda took some water, sprinkled on the head of the elephant and said, Gauranga, Gauranga, Krishna, Krishna. And the elephant, he started to pay obeisances to Rasikananda. They said that he paid 100 times obeisances to Rasikananda. And then Rasikananda came close to his right ear. He lifted his right ear and he said the Mahamantra to the elephant. And in this way, he got initiated on the spot. Not only that, he gave him a spiritual name. he was Gopal Das, the elephant Gopal Das. Rasikananda. Did I say Siamananda? Okay. No, Rasikananda, sorry. Rasikananda initiated the elephant. And the elephant used to start coming to all the classes of Rasikananda when Rasikananda will give a Srimad Bhagavatam class. But the problem was that people get scared of the elephant, and all the people who come to the class, they run in all directions. And then Rasikananda just started preaching from Srimad Bhagavatam, from Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures to Gopal. So Gopal became very learned, and he was very enthusiastic in serving the Vaishnava. This is instruction that Rasikananda gave to Gopal. He said, whenever see a Vaishnava, you just perform any service for them. So one time, the devotees, along with Rasikananda, they were wandering the forest, and then there was a heavy storm and heavy rain, and they took shelter under the banyan tree. But because the rain didn't stop, they couldn't go out and search for food. And in that moment, Gopal came, and when he saw the situation, he ran. They said he ran like a wind, and he went and collect some rice and collect some other vegetables and ingredients, and they brought all this for Rasikananda and his disciples. So Rasikananda, he traveled, especially in Orissa and Bengal, and his devotion for his guru was unique. They said one time, one person came and he said, Shyamananda, I want to see you straight away. And they were like a few miles from each other, like hundreds of miles from each other. And at that moment, Rasikananda was taking prasadam. He immediately washed his hands without finishing his prasadam, and he, in a few minutes, was out of the house just to travel hundreds of miles to meet Shyamananda. That was his devotion for his guru. And another time, something that showed the power of a great Vaishnava, he was traveling through a city, and he need to spend the night there. But the king was also not very good. Not the king, sorry, the how do you call it? The main person of the city. How do you call it? They say a specific. Yeah, something like that. Like a mayor of the city was not favorable to, and he started to criticize Rasikananda and his disciple. He said, "You are just pretenders. You pretend that you are a devotee, but you are not actually a devotee." And he said, "I will not give you shelter in my city. You will need to sleep under the trees." And Rasikananda said to him, "You got such a nice houses, and you are not able to give shelter to the devotees." And he said, no, I'm not going to help you. So in that moment, it started blow heavy wind, and the friction with some elements created a fire. So all the houses in that city got on fire. So in that moment, the mayor of the city, he came to Rasikananda and he paid obeisances to him, and he started to implore, please save our city. And all the inhabitants of the city also came and started praying to Rasikananda. And then Rasikananda said, okay. So he started praying to Agni. He said, okay, Agni, that was enough. Now you can stop the fire. So immediately the fire stopped in all the houses, and the city was saved. And needless to say is that everyone became disciples or followers of Rasikananda. But there was another king which is not as bad as the previous one, and he used to come to to listen to the lectures of Rasikananda. And one time, while he was listening in the class, he turned his face away from the class. And there was one disciple of Rasikananda, and that showed how much love also his disciples had for him as well. His name was Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna he saw the situation that the king got distracted from the lecture. Actually, there was some sport activities outside, and the king just started to pay attention to those activities instead of listening to the Srimad Bhagavatam class. So the Ramakrishna, he started chastising the king very loudly in front of everyone. She said, "What kind of king you are? For you, it's more important to pay attention to these frivolous sporting activities than to listen a pure devotee talking about the glories of Lord Krishna." And he was very strong. Everyone was shocked that somebody would dare to chastise the king this way. Not only that, he went and slapped the king, so much so that the king fell from his throne and became unconscious. So obviously all the ministers, they wanted to kill this Ramakrishna. But then in that moment, the king came back to his consciousness, and he apologized actually to Ramakrishna. And he said to his ministers, "Actually, he's teaching me a great lesson today. Due to my pride, I've been distracted and didn't pay attention to the glories of Krishna. And he's actually my guru." So saying that, he embraced Ramakrishna and started weeping. And he sat him on his throne next to him. And then, because obviously Rasikananda had to stop the Bhagavatam class, so he continued talking of the Srimad Bhagavatam class. So there are many, many pastimes about Rasikananda. I will tell the last one, otherwise we don't have any time to talk about Jagannath Das Babaji. One time also, Lord Jagannath, he appeared in a dream of the main priest. It's called Mahapatra. He appeared in a dream of the main priest in Jagannath and said to him, "There is a great devotee of mine, his name is Rasikananda, and I want him on the next Ratha Yatra. So you need to tell that to the king. I need to go and fetch Rasikananda." So next day, the priest told the king, and they immediately sent a group of devotees to bring Rasikananda to the Ratha Yatra. And they say some cloth of Lord Jagannath as well. So when they arrived, Rasikananda heard voice from the sky. Akashvani. Akashvani said, "Come to see me." And then immediately Rasikananda understood he need to go to see Jagannath. So he told his disciples, "Let's go to Jagannath Puri." They were quite far, and in those days there were no trains, there were no taxis, there were no cars, no planes, just walking. Everything was by walk. So they walked to Jagannath Puri, and when they arrived, the Ratha Yatra was about to start. So they start blowing the conch shells and the trumpets, and everything was ready to start. And then when they wanted to move the cart, didn't move, got stuck. And immediately everyone, like hundreds of people, trying to pull the chariot, but the chariot will not move. So the king sent for the elephant. So they tied up some elephants to the chariot, and still the chariot will not move. And then the priest had another dream with Jagannath, and he said, "Don't waste your time. Until Rasikananda comes here, I will not move. And if Krishna doesn't want to move, nobody can move him." So when Rasikananda came, he put his head, he started to pull the cart with his head, and immediately the chariot started moving again. Not only that, they said that it was moving like the wind. It went so fast. So we see that Rasikananda was an extremely powerful acharya. And so to finish this, I will tell just the last pastime how he left this world. It is said that Krishna came at one point. He was 69 years old. And Krishna came before him. He said, "Your pastime in this planet are finished, so you need to come back to me." So next day, Rasikananda told all his disciples, "Okay, that's it. Krishna is calling me back. I need to go. See you later." So he went to Shirakshora Gopinath, which is a very famous deity of Lord Krishna in Remuna, in Jagannath Puri. And he went to the temple. There are two versions. One version is he touched the feet of the deity, and then he left his body. This was while the devotees were performing an uproarious kirtan. Some other version is that he merged into the deity of Shirakshora Gopinath. But as Vaishnavas, we should not maybe discuss about this because it could lead to some confusion. But in either case, he left his body this way. And they said that 8 of his devotees, 8 of his disciples, who were performing kirtan at that moment, they dropped their mridangas, they dropped their kartas, and they also left their bodies because they could not tolerate the separation from his spiritual master. So Rasikananda Prabhu ki jai, Elephant Gopal ki jai. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. Sure. Oh, yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, we have 5 minutes. Perhaps 10 if Prabhupada Prana Prabhu allows. Well, Jagannath Das Babaji is one of our acharyas here. We can see he's holding his japamala, and he got a bent back due to old age. He lived a very long life. Actually, he left his body when he was 145 years old. When he was a child, he was very detached from birth. He was totally detached from any material affairs. He didn't want anything to do with the material world. So when his parents, they saw this, they said, "No, we should try to engage him materially, otherwise he will be just a sannyasi and leave the house," or something like that. So they start to make arrangement for his marriage. But Jagannath Babaji was not interested, so he left. And he was just a small kid. And he went to Vrindavan. And when he arrived in Vrindavan, he didn't know anyone, he didn't know anything about Vrindavan. He only knew that this is a place of Radha Krishna, and if you want to find Radha Krishna, this is a correct place. So he started searching for a spiritual master. So in Vrindavan at that time, there were 3 Babajis. They were very famous, one in Kamyavan, one in Govardhan, and one in Vrindavan. He went one by one asking for instructions about how to perform sadhana and bhakti. But they all were very humble and said, "No, we are not qualified. You are such a young boy and you are so much qualified. sometimes great personalities, they are so humble that they don't feel qualified to instruct or to become a guru. So he was rejected in every case. With each Jai Krishna Das Babaji was the first one, and he rejected him. And then he went to the next Babaji and the next Babaji, and they all rejected him. But the last one, he said, okay, go to Radha Kunda and take instructions directly from Srimati Radharani. So he went to Radha Kunda and he was, hey Krishna, hey Radha, he was crying and he was praying to Srimati Radharani, but nothing happened. Nothing happened. And then he got transcendentally very depressed. And he said, what is the point of my life? Nobody wants to instruct me. Nobody wants to be my guru. And Srimati Radharani, whose heart is soft like butter, still she doesn't want to give me her mercy. So what is the point of my life? So I will kill myself. So he tied a rope on his neck with a big Govardhan Shila, and he dropped the Govardhan Shila in Radhakunda, and he went deep into Radhakunda. But like magic, the knot of the rope that was tied in the Govardhan loosened up, and Jagannatha Babaji went on the surface of the Radhakunda. But then he saw there was a palm leaf floating in the Radhakunda, and he turned it around and he saw there were instructions that Radharani was giving him, 10 commands, the original 10 commands. And there were instructions for him how to perform bhajan, what to do, what not to do. And then he said, okay, that's fine, but I still need a spiritual master. So he heard a voice that said, soon I will send you a spiritual master. And then we come to the story of his spiritual master, because devotee is glorious because his spiritual master is glorious as well. So when we discuss about an Acharya, we also discuss the glories of his spiritual master as well. So we come to Madhusudan Das Babaji, who comes in the line of Baladeva Vidyabhushana, Gaudiya Vaishnava. So Madhusudan Das Babaji was also a very great devotee who was completely detached from this world. And he was just chanting all day and all night. And then Krishna appeared before him, and he said that he need to initiate Jagannath Das Babaji. So Jagannath Das Babaji met, this is a long story short, he met Jagannath Das Babaji and he instructed him how to perform bhajan and how to perform all the activities of devotional service. And they said that the sadhana of Jagannath Das Babaji was unparalleled. Sorry. He will chant for 3 days without no eating, no sleeping. He's chanting all day long for 3 days. And then he met Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who is actually Shiksha disciple. We can see in the picture, Shiksha disciple of Jagannath Das Babaji. And when they met was like explosion of devotion. And they increased. They say, what is this 3 days? We will increase to 11 days. So for 11 days, they were sitting together and they were just chanting. After 11 days, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a grihasta, he cooked a feast and they will take prasadam, and then again for 11 days fasting and chanting all day and all night without sleeping, without any material activities. So he he lived like this, performing tapasya. And they said in summertime, when it was getting very hot, he will go to Rishikesh. Jagannath Das Babaji will walk to Rishikesh, which is a long distance from Vrindavan. And he will do all these tapasyas, just stay in a secluded place and chant Mahamantra all day long. And he will not eat until he finish. He also, they said that Jagannath Das Babaji, he recommend that we should chant 2 lakhs, which means 128 rounds, isn't it? But of course, no one can do this nowadays. It's very, very difficult. And he's an extraordinary personality, fully empowered by Krishna and by his spiritual master. So they said that also part of his practice is that he will pay 1,000 times obeisances to his Thakurji, to his deity, 1,000 times every single day. And he also was very well known because he was the one who discovered the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They said that Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he could see from his house in effulsions on the other side of the river. And if you go to Mayapur, you go to Bhaktivinoda's house, you can see the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur could see that on the other side of the Ganga, there was something really special going on. So he went there, and he spoke with the villagers, and he asked the villager, "What is this place?" Like he said, "There is nothing here, nothing. Actually, this is a useless land. Nothing grows here. Whatever seed we put on the ground, it just grow tulsi leaves. The only thing that grows is tulsi leaves. Tulsi plants." And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur understood, oh, this place must be the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And to confirm that, one time he took Jagannath Das Babaji, who was very close with Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He didn't say anything. And at that time, he was like 120 years old, Jagannath Das Babaji, and he was carrying a basket by his very strong disciple, Bihari Lal. And when they reached this place, he jumped out of the basket, and he started dancing and chanting, Gauranga, Gauranga. So that was a confirmation for Bhaktivinoda Thakur that this is actually the real place of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there are so many pastimes like this. He said that he was so old, he could not, his eyelids will not work properly. So Bihari, his servant, he has to lift his eyelids so he could see, because his deity was a Govardhan, he had the Govardhan Shila. And then Bihari Lal will do the puja, and Jagannath Das Babaji just put the tulsi leaves, but only when they lift the eyelids, because he could not see properly. Another interesting incident, one person came to Jagannath Das Babaji, he asked, "Please show me some magic. I want to see some magic. I want to see something extraordinary." And Jagannath Babaji said, "I don't know any magic. I don't know any magic." And then he took a stick, Jagannath, and started beating the earth. And the person said, "Okay, sorry, Babaji, I think I had offended you. I will not ask you anything anymore. I'm going." He said, No, I'm not doing this for you. There is a goat who is eating a tulsi plant outside the mandir of Lokanath Goswami, in the samadhi of Lokanath Goswami, which was, they were in Mayapur, in Godrumadweep, and this was in Vrindavan, thousands and thousands of miles away. And then this person was quite a powerful personality there, I mean, quite influential. So he sent a telegram, those days telegram. He sent a telegram, and actually they confirmed that there was actually a goat who was creating havoc around Radhakunda, and especially on front of Radhakunda, where is the samadhi of Lokanath Goswami. So he understood, yeah, this is not an ordinary person. And it's not a person just to ask for just some magic tricks, because Vaishnava is more powerful than this, and that's not the proper um, etiquette just to ask for some material blessings or to see some magic. Okay, I think we are way over time. We just touched the surface of the tip of the iceberg. There are so many things that we can say about Rasikananda and Jagannath Babaji, but I feel very honored that I had the opportunity to talk a little bit about them, and remembering them is a great inspiration for everyone. So, Rasikananda Prabhu ki jai, Jagannath Babaji ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hari.
His Grace Gandaki Prabhu ki